I never fully understood the popularity of chicken wings until I realized how easy they are to prepare and cook, as much as you let them be. I'm making them with sort of a chili lime seasoning with some rice and vegetables. I'm going to season them an hour before I plan to cook them. More time would probably be better. This could be something you do before you go to work in the morning. Honestly, I've really been enjoying this pre-mixed chili and lime spice, but for the sake of the video, I'm going to try and be fancy and approximate this with a combination of spices and a real lime. This is going to be a really simple marinade. I'm putting 2 large serving spoons worth of mayonnaise in this bowl. That will be plenty enough to cover the 6 chicken wings. That's enough for 2 people. Then all I'm going to do is dump the spices in. I'll finish off this bottle of chili powder. There's a little cayenne pepper for extra spice. A little paprika. Nah, how about a lot of paprika? It seems to be one of the main ingredients of the pre-made spice mix, so I will make it the one in here. A teaspoon of plain old table salt. Okay, now I'll give it a mix and see how it looks. I suppose the test here is to make sure that the mayonnaise can take in all the spices and that there is enough spice to adequately flavor the chicken. I'm not sure whether it'd be better to add the lime zest at this point or save it for later to keep the flavor fresh. Since I didn't take the time to research that information, I decided to zest about half the surface of the lime and to add the rest in toward the end. Now, to break down these chicken wings, a sharp knife makes things a lot easier. I like to get the knife behind the joint. This part here is basically the chicken's wrist joint and cut right through that. Now for the elbow joint, same thing. Think of it as though you're cutting the angle created by the 2 sides of the joint in half. Do that and most of what you're cutting through will be cartilage and it should go through pretty smoothly. Then I toss the 2 edible parts of the wing into the mixture and repeat. Again, through the elbow, then the wrist, through the elbow, through the wrist. Now watch here as I take a bad angle. Looks like I angled it more towards the humerus and straight at the elbow. Oops. And see what happened here is I cut wrong, so I just gotta readjust and cut into the actual cartilage part. Now I just need to mix this all up and get the wings coated and they can sit in the fridge until I'm ready to cook them. It seems like these would go well with rice, so a little while ahead of when I plan to start cooking the wings, I start heating some water. Lately I've been cooking rice pasta style. While that's heating up, I'll cut up some peppers, starting with 1 bell pepper. I've discovered that I like to start cutting it across the top rather than down in around the stem. Then that gives you a nice little ring that you can chop up however you want. Normally I do strips, but today I feel like doing rings. These are Piquet Bajío peppers from my garden. They aren't mature, so they are quite mild. I'll chop them up like so. I feel like some garlic would be good with this too. I will also dice up a small onion to throw in here too, just because I have it. Okay, that was more than enough time for the water to come to a boil. The nice thing about cooking rice with excess water is you don't have to measure the rice. I just dump it right in until I feel like I have enough. Then I turn the heat down low and set the timer for the amount of time it says to simmer this rice. The bag says 20 minutes. I feel like it ended up a little soft, so maybe next time I will take a few minutes off. Now I will also start heating the oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. With about 11 minutes left on the rice timer, I start heating my cast iron pan with high heat and forget about it for a while. I come back a little later than I intended, and this is way hotter than I need it to be. It's well over 500 degrees Fahrenheit, and the internet says 375 degrees Fahrenheit is the best chicken searing temperature, but maybe overshooting the temperature is a good thing because there are a lot of wings for this size pan, and they'll drop the temperature of the pan as I place them on. No need to add any oil since they are already coated in mayonnaise, which is mostly oil itself. A few minutes later, the rice is ready to drain, so I remove that from the heat and drain it over the sink. These wings probably only needed 2 minutes, so now I'll flip them over. Yeah, that's a little excessive. Okay, this time I'll watch the time more closely and give them 2 minutes. The heat is off now. I think I wasted an opportunity by not using the leftover marinade from the wings on these vegetables. Anyway, this is all going into the oven for about 10 minutes. You may be wondering, how am I going to get all these vegetables at the same level of doneness with them being cut different sizes? Well, I'm going to deal with that by using an elaborate and complicated culinary technique called not caring. Those bell pepper slices are pretty thick though. Perhaps I should have fried them in the pan after I flipped the wings or sliced them thinner. I do sort of make an effort to get the bigger stuff to the bottom where it will be contacting the thermal mass of the pan. I want to avoid burning the garlic as much as I can. Okay, now it goes into the oven. In previous version of this meal, they covered the pan with aluminum foil to trap the steam and cook the vegetables faster. I don't know why I didn't do that this time. Here it comes out of the oven and the bell pepper is a little less done than I would like it. At the same time, it's not like you can't eat undercooked peppers. I avoided burning the garlic, which is what I cared about more. In preparation for the next step, I removed the chicken wings. With those out of there, I turn the heat back on medium and pour the drained rice in the pan. Wow, I am really struggling with the focus today. This is an extra step that I haven't taken the last 2 or 3 times I made wings like this. There's all sorts of flavor on the bottom of the pan from the seared chicken and the fat drippings. There, now hopefully you can see a little better. I've just stirred this enough to get everything coated with fond and the rendered fat. I'm hoping to get some browning on the rice, so I'll just let it sit there on the heat as I grate in some more of that lime. That'll make it taste nice and fresh. By the way, I totally forgot to put salt on this, and I realized that as soon as I started eating it. More paprika seems like a good idea though. Now the juice of half that lime. Looks like I turned the heat off for a moment. I probably could have just left it on. After that juice disappears, here's another half of the lime. Stir that a little more. Now the heat can come off. This is a nice colorful meal, if nothing else. For about 3 seconds I considered scrapping this video given the fact that I made some mistakes and have made better versions of this while not filming. But no, part of the idea of this channel is to capture the reality of home cooking when you are a beginner to intermediate level cook with other things to do, and most of the time things don't turn out perfectly and they don't have to. The chicken is cooked thoroughly, nothing got burned badly, it's got a good combination of flavors, and it's pretty easy.